I feel like the only reason people still use Windows is because it comes with the computer and people just either don't know how or just don't care enough to switch. We all know that it's very privacy invasive. We all know that Microsoft likes to collect a lot of your data. So if you want to change that, this is a quick guide to do that. First thing you want to do is head over to your settings. We're going to go through the basics, then we're going to go through some of the software that you can get to help with this. But we're just going to go through the built-in settings first. So obviously you want to go to the privacy and security tab, and from here you want to make sure that general, turn all these off, make sure all of these are turned off here. You can see let Windows improve start and search results. I mean, let websites show me locally relevant content, advertising IDs, personalized ads. No one wants that. So find my device. If your device supports this, I honestly recommend you have it off because who the fuck uses that anyways? Speech. This sucks. There's speech recognition technology. That's fucking creepy. Turn that off. Inking and typing personalization. Use my typing history and handwriting patterns to create a custom dictionary. What the fuck? No. Diagnostics and feedback. Don't send me your don't send my data to Microsoft and clear that diagnostic data right now. I don't want you to fucking do that shit. Why is that a default option? Well, we all know why, but like, come on, man. Come on. Activity history, turn all that off, clear history. No one wants their activity history being tracked. Search permissions. Let's go ahead and head over to search permissions. I don't like that being on, but you can keep that if you want. This is the explicit filter. Cloud content search. No. You might want the work or school thing on, you know, if you have work or school, but if you do, then obviously this device is not one for privacy because your school would be able to track what you're doing, your work, whatever. History, turn that off, clear device search history. Get that out of here. So show search highlights, turn that off, get that out of here. I don't like that. I mean, it really doesn't do much other than just be annoying. So I'm gonna go ahead and turn that off. It gets rid of that shitty little bit there. So now it's just the normal plain search. If it'll even pop up, the whole system's fried here. Searching Windows. So searching Windows, there's actually nothing in here. Now in app permissions, I recommend turning off location unless if you want to have like a weather app or something that does actually need your location, but someone like me, I don't need it, so leave that off. Microphone. Now this is important. I would go here and I would turn off any apps that you don't want to have access. Like, why does Microsoft Store need my microphone access? Feedback Hub, Cortana, camera. What? Like, come on. No, get out of here. I only want to allow very specific applications, like if I have recording software, whatever. Now, another recommendation that I can't really show you, but what I can say is use a local account. Microsoft accounts, if you use a Microsoft account, if you're signed into a Microsoft account on your Windows machine, I would change that and go to be a local account. If you're really into the whole, if you're really deeply entrenched in the Microsoft ecosystem, this may not be the best idea for you, honestly, but you kind of already understood the risk of giving up your privacy. Having a local account disconnects you from a lot of Microsoft's garbage, and it's a better option if you want a more private experience for you instead of being, you know, interconnected with all of Microsoft's bullshit. By the way, if you're curious on how to security and privacy harden your browser, well, specifically privacy hardening, then go check out my previous video. I did a video where I went over that and how to get a more private experience out of, you know, your browser. So be sure to check that out. It won't be covered in this video. The tools that I'm going to be showing you, the software that you actually have to download that's not built into Windows, is O&O ShutUp10++, which is a really funny name. And then there's also going to be TinyWall, and we'll go over both of them. I'll show you how to set it up. It's really easy stuff. I'm assuming anyone here has administrative privileges on their computer. Welcome to O&O ShutUp10. This software is very easy to use. You want to do actions, apply only recommended settings, hit that, and you're done. well, after, you make a system restore, which I do recommend you actually do, because God forbid something happens, then, you're kind of fucked. But it's pretty simple to make a system restore point. You just got to go to actions, create system restoration point, and there you go. Now what you can do, although some of these are more limiting in the features, that's why I only said to apply recommended, because these don't really affect the average user. But if you want to go farther than this and you want to go a step further, then there's some extra settings. I would not recommend fucking with the red ones, but there are some orange ones, some yellow ones limited, that would limit your experience a bit in certain aspects, but gives you a little more privacy too. So, you really have to weigh your options, go down this list and think about it all. Current user, I did it for current user. You want to make sure you do it for local machine as well, which, yeah, it does it already. And disable Microsoft Edge launch in background. I fucking hate when it does that. So you know how you'll go and look and you'll see all that stupid shit running in the background in Task Manager, Microsoft Edge, and all that shit? Well, guess what? It's gone now. Now you can disable Microsoft Spynet membership, which basically stops your antivirus from sending samples to their cloud to have it analyzed, which limits the built-in antivirus because it basically entirely relies on the cloud. Let's be real here. So if you really care that much about not sending data, there you go. But, it also comes at a cost in case if anything does happen and it needs to get scanned, it needs to get checked. But if you're smart enough, that should never be the case in the first place. So you're good. Now, I would leave this somewhere on your computer in case if there's a Windows update of some kind, whatever, and it fucks up some of your settings. You can always open it back up, reapply the settings. There you go. Now, this is a tool I've shown in an older, shittier video. It's called TinyWall. I'm a fan of this software. Anytime I have a Windows machine, you best believe I'm getting TinyWall. It's a very nice tool. Now, be very careful if you're doing a remote install, which I don't know why you would, or if you don't know how to, if you're following along with this video, like as you're watching it or something, just keep in mind, after you install TinyWall, you're going to lose internet connection on basically everything. So make sure you actually watch the instructions first and then go do this, because otherwise you can just lose connection, not know what to do, freak out. You actually have to manually whitelist shit. So the problem with TinyWall, that isn't much of a problem in my opinion, but some people get annoyed with it, is that you have to manually whitelist shit. Unless, I mean, there's different ways you can go about it. So I'll just show you this. So you go here, this little TinyWall thing here, I would elevate it. Make sure it has higher access permissions, because if you run something else as administrator, it's going to override TinyWall. Now, TinyWall doesn't act as an independent firewall. It works alongside Windows' built-in firewall, which is really nice. What you can do is you can change the mode from normal protection to block all, which will just block all connections. Disable the firewall, which will disable TinyWall, I believe, but it might also disable Windows Defender Firewall. I can't quite remember, if I'll be honest. Allow outgoing, which basically means that nothing can come in, it can only go out. And auto learn. Now, if you're lazy and you want to just if you don't want to have to manually whitelist shit, then turn on auto learn. Start at least once all of your different apps that you want to have internet access to. So just go through and open all your applications, start playing your games, whatever, get them all running, and then play them, just get them started up, then close them, do all that, then turn off auto learn and go back to normal protection. And then you want to click on manage here. This is where it's at. Okay, so I would recommend enabling block lists. You can block port-based malware and domain-based malware and add block lists. So this prevents traffic from these IPs or whatnot from fucking with your shit, from sending data to your computer, whatever. It's very nice. I would recommend putting a password on your firewall. I'm not going to for the sake of this video, but that just helps prevent unauthorized tampering, whatnot. So I would get rid of Internet Explorer. I don't want that. Microsoft Edge, fuck you. I don't want you to have access to that. Plugin container.exe. This is for extensions for the browser, I believe. Obviously, I want Firefox to have internet access, and I believe it already does. Unrestricted UDP and TCP traffic, which is what it needs. And it's not applying the same rule to child processes because it really doesn't need to. Now, going over here, I'm going to turn on Windows Defender's access. You may not want to, but I'm going to. And then if you have any of these other things, you can as well. Like if you want to use remote desktop, you have to turn it on, you know. So you can also turn off any of these if you want, like if you don't want any Windows updates or time sync or anything like that, but I kind of think you do. I don't, some weirdo probably doesn't, but you know, the weird one in the crowd. So I'm going to go ahead and download an application real quick. Let me figure out what I want to get. Now, unless if you're using some kind of obscure browser, I did realize that Firefox was whitelisted by default on TinyWall. So earlier, whenever I said that you would lose internet access entirely, I guess that's not entirely true because your browser would still work, which is a really nice touch. I'm glad that it auto whitelists browsers. So I got FileZilla. Let me go ahead and boot this up. You don't need to really know what this is. It's FTP client. If you don't know what that is, don't worry about it. Now, I want this to have internet access, obviously, so I can choose whitelist by executable, whitelist by process, whitelist by window. This is the easiest one to do, but it may not work for everything. So I'm going to do whitelist by window, and now all I have to do is click on the window. Clicked on the window. Now, you should get a notification. It says firewall rules recognized, blah, 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 blah. Click on this notification and you can modify what it does. So this has unrestricted TCP and UDP traffic. Let's say, just for the damn example, let's just say I want it to have unrestricted UDP and TCP, same for child processes, and hit OK. There you go. This tool is useful, especially for servers, actually. TinyWall is very good for Windows servers. If you have a Windows server, for some reason, you fucking creature, just get an Ubuntu server already, you sick fuck. Use this to restrict everything and only allow what needs internet access to actually have it. And that's why this is a very good tool for privacy and actually pretty decent tool for security as well. And you can get it for your personal computer like I just did for my virtual machine, or you know, you can just do it if you have a server, whatever, but I would recommend it. It's just some people may get annoyed by the whole having to whitelist shit thing, but auto learn is useful for that. It's just after you run auto learn for a bit, like let's just say I turn on auto learn and I leave it running for a bit, right? And then get this notification out of here. And then I go back to normal protection. And then I want to manage. And then I go to application exceptions. You see SVC host. You will see that a lot of the background processes that run on Windows will also get picked up and will also get whitelisted, which I don't want. So after you turn on auto learn, you'll still want to go through your exceptions and get rid of anything that you don't want. But it's good if you want to just have everything that you do want already, you know, slapped in here. Now, there's one more cool feature of TinyWall, and it is show connections. This is very useful because if you want to get a good look at what's connecting, what's doing what, and as you could see, compared to a regular Windows computer that sends a bunch of network garbage all the time to, you know, collect data on you from Microsoft. Instead, this is all I'm getting. And if I really wanted to, I could unblock these, but I don't see why you would. I could even kill the processes, not system, but kill the processes. You can show blocked apps. You can see right here that there is a ton. So specifically the store, I believe, Microsoft Windows client.cbs. I'm not sure what this is. Search host. Oh, it's search host. So it keeps trying to make all these stupid connections and I'm blocking it. So you can see that it's trying to ping to all these remote addresses on port 443, and it's going through this local port. It's going TCP, it's going out. You can see that it's being blocked, and this is very useful if you don't want any of that stupid ass telemetry. The whole point of getting these kinds of tools and going through these steps is to regain some control on your system, because Microsoft, in their eyes, they like to see it as their system, their operating system that they are providing to you as a service, right? If you go look at their terms of service, the way they word things, everything like that, it's a service, okay? It's your system, or that's at least how it should be. It should be your system. It should be your system because it's on your computer, on your hardware, and it's your experience, it's your files, it's everything. So you're regaining some control to your system. But because this is Windows that we're talking about here, this is Microsoft, it's never going to be truly, perfectly private, as well as Linux or something like that would be. And I am planning on doing some sort of intro to Linux kind of video soon, so if you're interested in that, be sure to check it out. Hopefully you found this video informative and useful. That was the plan. Consider leaving a like if you do find it informative. Share it around if you want. Please subscribe. That would actually be helpful. My channels have been popping off recently, and I've been checking my phone. I've been checking YouTube Studio, and I'm just like, holy shit. The channel's been popping off, and I'm glad that it is, because the whole point is to spread a message and really kind of prove a point that this whole privacy security thing is not as hard as some people think. A lot of people think that like privacy, security, and all that is pretty fucking difficult, but it really seems that way, and it can really seem technical and scary. But when you break it down in a very simple to follow, easy to understand way, and you kind of explain things in, you know, a simpler manner, people really start to see, oh, well, this whole thing isn't actually that bad. So it really helps people it helps spread the message of privacy is not completely dead. It doesn't have to be, at least. It is in some areas, but it doesn't have to be completely dead with your system. You can still have a private experience, and I'm just trying to help people, you know, find their way to creating a more private experience for them where they have more control over their system.